Welcome back to our Bluebirds Walk. Fans were saying Riza was to blame for Sunderland. We looked okay until he made changes. Why? We'll get Jamie's view on that. Plus, playing five at the back. Some fans are saying, I hope I never see it again. We're talking about wages and who are the top earners at Cardiff City. We'll look at the list of that. And who do Cardiff City fans want to see come up from League One? What are your thoughts on Wrexham, for example? We've got Jamie to answer all the above. Thank you very much for joining us. If you're new to it, it's 20 minutes of Cardiff City Chat, where we look at the very best and the very worst of all the social media takes following Cardiff City games. Right, Jamie, you were at the Stadium of Light. Our Sunderland fans said, actually, for some periods of that game, you looked the more threatening. What was your view on it?
Yeah, I fully agree. I think, as you know, when you concede very early through a self-inflicted goal, I would probably say, you leave yourself an uphill challenge, don't you? But I thought after about 25 minutes, we kind of drew ourselves back into the game. And I think then obviously we got the equaliser, controversial, some may say. And I think we came out the second half, surprisingly for us, actually quite good and looked like, a threat. Yusuf Salah had that chance, which credit to Patterson. I know he gets his bit of criticism from Sunderland fans in certain sections. He made a brilliant save to tip it onto the post. And then like you've just said there, the moment that kind of confused fans a little bit more than anything was why we went to five at the back. And I think, whether Sunderland were pushing forward or not, I thought we were quite comfortable until that point. And and obviously Sunderland then get quick thinking, score a goal. We fall asleep, and that's why they're in the top four. And we are where we are, I think.
Yeah, it just seems every week when the result doesn't go for you, there's one team in the bottom three that just seems to just pull one out of the bag, doesn't it? It was Luton last week and then Derby this week. How worried are you getting?
I mean, it's certainly getting a bit more nervy. I mean, like we said, we had a positive week a few weeks ago, enjoyed it, then got it to Villa. And then, like you said, there's always one team that seems to sort of upset the apple cart a little bit. With today's results, I'm probably going to say Portsmouth are definitely safe. So that's another side that we're not going to reach, I'd imagine. But again, we can't rely on other sides. This week that was just gone by, we played two top four sides. We lost 2-1 respectively in both. And we had spells in both that we caused problems. But we didn't come out with any points. And when you don't come out with any points, unfortunately, teams can close in on you.
Yeah, absolutely. But you ended the Burnley spell of not conceding as well. So we should give a shout out to Cardiff there. But there was a lot of anger, I think. Well, I'd say a lot of anger. There's probably the usual fan base on social media that were coming at Jamie. You'll know who they are. But so they love their club. Matt says, well done, Riza. We were well in the game before stupidly going to five at the back. We were the better side in the second half till then. There's a poor goal to concede, but momentum shifted before that. It cost us a good point. Bob Bank says, the appointment of Riza, the decision to go cheap, will ultimately cost us. Do you agree with these people that are saying he cost you that game?
Yeah, I mean, again, I was quite emotional after the game in terms of reactionary, and I'd spoke to one of our other fan channels and said about it, and that's the thing I highlighted was why. I think that was the thing. If we'd went, I said before the game, we go there, we give a good account of ourselves. Any fan can accept defeat on that notion. But when you're, in with a fighting chance, you're doing well to hold on to a point, and you're probably frustrating a big crowd like Sunderland have. Why would you then change something that, at the minute or at that time wasn't necessarily being battered? He's alluded to the fact that I think they bought an extra attacker on, so he'd kind of tried countering that, and I understand that. But we haven't got the best of records, to my knowledge, and to many fans' knowledge. I think Bristol City away is the one that we all bring up, where we've gone to five in the back, and we've lost shape, and we've just lost the game. So, again, Omer Riza is a lovely man. He is, he's got a lot of time for the fans and so on and so forth. And I'm not discrediting him as a person, but we can't afford it. I know we've got 4-point buffer to be kind of trying these tactics or implementing these little tactics when we need points.
Yeah, the points all are coming up now, Jamie, all reflect that. Riza actually got it spot on. He was saying before those changes why the back three killed what we looked like before the open game, and one which we could have won as well. Welsh one says taking Callum Robinson off early time and again is a mistake. He can change a game in a second. He must play the full 90 minutes against Luton on Tuesday. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, again, I think, credit, it's very, the key thing for me is why change the back five? And I think that's the most highlighted thing that the Cardiff fans said. Why did we change the back five? Because to be fair to Omer Riza, the original game plan, I would say, was probably working, and that's testimony to them to play the devil's advocate. But Isaac Davis, for example, I know he's just come back from, a long time, on the sidelines. He was causing their left back problems. His speed getting in behind created, us the chance to get out of the box and so on. You take him off, you replace someone, and it's just like we lost that little bit of momentum with every change we were making. And I'm not saying it just as yesterday. Maybe every team has that. Your fluency kind of goes and your rhythm goes. And I think when we were making those changes, the impact substitute didn't make the desired impact. And obviously the change of shape then didn't help because that's that's sort of highlighted more because your substitutes that are meant to come on and make an impact, unfortunately, didn't. A lapse of concentration from what was Sunderland will say is a well-worked free kick has cost us what would have been a very a valiant point and probably a point that not many would have expected us to got anyway.
And I think the nerves around this relegation potential is really affecting some of the fans now. We're seeing a lot more anger. This is probably the one of those. Craig says, lose Tuesday and Luton are 2 points behind us. Derby win their next game and they'll be a point behind us. Tuesday is the biggest game of the season by a mile. He has to go for it. And if he goes to 5 at the back at any point on Tuesday, my head is going to dissolve. I mean, are we at risk of seeing the crowd turn against him if he continues with this tactic of switching it mid-game?
I mean, most probably. It depends how the games are going, I suppose. Again, if we want to play devil's advocate, the side of every coin, some switches he has done over the season have gone well, and credit to him for that. But we're in a position now, like Craig just mentioned there, now where if we lose and we fail to probably pick up the 3 points, it's squeaky bum time, isn't it? You're the home side, you're the home team. You need to go for it. I know there's a risk of Luton's threats, albeit people may laugh at that comment and say, "What threats have they got when they're so poor?" Well, any game is different. They've just been thumped at Burnley, but that's a completely different game. They've got some familiar players to us in terms of Josh Bowler. They've got some good individuals. They've got Mark McGuinness from a set piece who can, get his head onto something. So we've got to control that game. We've got to set the tempo. We've got to make it uncomfortable for them on our pitch. We can't allow them to settle, and ultimately we need to sort of add to the pressure that they've got, because let's not forget the position they're in as well. But it really is that relegation 6-pointer, isn't it?
It's absolutely huge because we're close before Tuesday as well. So fingers crossed, by the time this goes out, it has gone well. Right, Jamie, thanks for all of that. We'll leave the Sunderland game to one side. This week, you'll have probably come across this on social media that the wages for each club have been put into a graphic, and this is by it's been put by Salary Sport. What amazed me straight away looking at this, and I'm sure certainly for the comments I've seen from Cardiff fans, was wow. We are seriously spending some money in comparison to, first of all, where we are in the league, and also some clubs of similar sizes and even bigger sizes than Cardiff in terms of attendances. Jamie, what was your reaction to this?
It's not a surprise to me, if I'm honest. We've probably got players on contracts, that were probably coming towards the end of their contracts now that are on a larger proportion of wages. I kind of feel like we're in position at the minute where we're trying to, and we've probably tried in the past, nurture through and bring through more younger players. Because, you know, if we're being honest, as a business model, we're not sustainable. I don't think many clubs are when you see graphics like this. I mean, that's, again, when you look at the sides there, the noticeable ones there, the Leeds, Burnleys and Sheffield Uniteds are where they are because of the Premier League. However, we haven't been in the Premier League for many, many years. So, you know, if the rumoured fees there are to, you know, to be believed, you would ask yourself, how are you in this position with the money that you're spending on the wages alone? And I think that's something that possibly Cardiff fans have asked on several occasions, that we should be in a position, you know, where we are now if we're paying that much for players.
The highest earners, the top 10 earners. This is staggering to me. And again, these aren't exact figures, but these are calculated figures, again, by a reputable sports journalist. These are phenomenal, given the age of some of these players in particular, and also, like you say, given the longevity of some of the, obviously, the contracts they've been given. This is worrying, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, again, like you just said, with, you know, if they are led to be, you know, to be true, well, Aaron Ramsey, you know, it speaks volumes as to, you know, who he is, what he's achieved, and, you know, it's probably a commercial aspect. I would imagine we've got some sort of commercial side of things. So, regards to that wage, in terms of a playing perspective, has he earned that wage or lived up to that wage? You'd probably say no. However, commercially, he probably, you know, is brought in some sort of revenue. Callum Chambers doesn't surprise me. However, you know, if you're bringing in a player with his experience, but not necessarily the amount of playing time, that's a big gamble at that, you know, at that price. Robinson's just signing a new contract now, so again, if you think he's 30, he's signing a new 2-year deal. That's quite a lot. But some of the players on there, like Rocco Simic, we signed him, and he's currently playing in the under-21s. So if he's on £20,000 a week playing in the under-21s, and something seriously isn't right. So again, those things need to be looked at, because it's not sustainable and it's not good in the current position that we find ourselves in.
Yeah, so that. Thanks, Jeremy. Let us know what, of course, you think. Finally, this week we're talking about League One promotion. Now, hopefully, we all hope Cardiff, of course, will be here next year to play these teams. But let's have a quick look at the 8 in particular that might be heading our way. Jamie, there's not much love for Wrexham at all out there in the football community. What is Cardiff fans' views on them as a side and as a project?
I mean, to be honest, I'll speak for myself here. I personally, you know, again, with the whole story behind their recent success, I'm not one for saying, "Oh, yeah, brilliant Wrexham, this, that, and the other." You know, having another Welsh team to face in the Championship, you know, I don't really fancy that idea. Yeah, I mean, again, they call it a fairy tale. Some other people might like it. I personally don't. I think League One in general, when you look at the likes of Wrexham and Birmingham, if I was in their position spending money like they are, or rumoured to be, then I probably wouldn't be saying this. But from the outside looking in, it kind of, it's sort of, what's the word? It kind of makes you feel like they're, you know, the term you see branded around by a lot of people is buying it. Whether they are or not, that's for everyone else to discuss. In terms of coming up, I like Stockport. I think they've done well for themselves. They've come up. Their fan base, you know, they're very loyal. They've been through the years as well. You know, some like Wrexham. Bolton, I think they've suffered a bit of time, haven't they, down there since their old Premier League years and stuff. So I wouldn't mind seeing Stockport, Charlton. I do like a good day out in London. So Stockport, Charlton, and well, let's just say Birmingham was, you know, let's be honest, is probably going to happen, isn't it? So Stockport, Charlton, and Birmingham.
All right. Cheers for that, Jamie. Let us know, of course, what you think, whether you agree with all of that. Right, good luck against Luton this week. We'll be hoping and fingers crossed that goes well, and we'll be back here in 7 days' time to review it all. Thank you very much for watching. We are a small Cardiff fish in a very large pond of excellent Cardiff podcasts. If you can help us with our journey, press the subscribe button, and that'll be absolutely amazing. See you next week.